Hello, and welcome to Hope for Felons podcast, where we discuss felons and everything in between. Your host for this show is Douglas Van Vliet. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Hope for Felons podcast. It is so good to be back on the show with you today. As we talk about felons and anything in between. We want to discuss a little bit today about law enforcement and the citizens. Folks, we have a really rough time. I'm taking criminal justice and I enjoy it. And I look at every situation now and I compare it to what would I do. If I was faced with that situation, what would I do? I believe that what we are seeing here today is the citizens don't want anything to do with law enforcement unless they need help. That's simply that. And if they are stopped for a traffic citation or if they do something wrong, they do not want to deal with law enforcement. I believe that that's what it's all about. Because what you're seeing here is a person does wrong. They don't want to get in the back of the squad car because they simply don't want to go to jail. They don't want to be arrested. So if the officer puts any force on them, then the citizens are crying, "You are using excessive force." Okay. I believe that we're living in a day and time that we need to let the officers make the decisions that are necessary. I believe that what we are seeing here is not all officers are good officers. I'm not saying that we don't have some bad officers, but what I'm saying is I believe that the citizens need to be understanding if they was in the situation of law enforcement. You can't let everybody go. They have to have a conviction. If the person done something wrong, they're going to be convicted. But you have to use a little common sense. And I think that's one thing that the citizens are not using right now. I believe you're seeing more individuals being more confrontational when they're being arrested. And I think that by that being the case, there is more than ever before of issues that are arising of where the law enforcement have to use more force, but by applying more force, it does not look good in any circumstances. It just don't look good because you see a lot of commotion, a lot of issues there. But I don't believe by watching body camera, it looks bad, but I don't think that we ourselves can say that this much force is necessary when we are not in that actual circumstance. So I think that, in my opinion, I think that we have to be a little bit more understanding. And you're saying, well, why are you saying that? Because you've had issues with law enforcement as well. Okay, well, listen to this. I personally believe that if you don't resist, if you do what you're supposed to be doing, then you're not going to have any trouble. You're simply not going to have any trouble. But if you don't do what you're supposed to be doing, then there's going to be trouble. And it's sad to say that I believe that George Floyd lost his life not just because of an officer, but because he was actually high on fentanyl and he had too much fentanyl in his system. Because as a person that knows and learns, that's one of the things that we'll be studying next, would be drugs and how it affects your system. But officers are trained. They are trained to deal with people that are in crisis, that are drug addicts. That's one of the things, when you go through criminal justice, you learn that. But I believe that every officer, that before they are able to start being an officer, I think they should have to go through the whole course of criminal justice. Not just the BLET, or whatever it is. I almost said BLT. But really, I think that by doing that, the officer will have a lot of training and enough training to not make foolish decisions. But it will cost. But I think that if the department wants qualified officers, that's one of the ways to get it, because you're not going to see somebody that just wants to go out here and spend a little bit of time, getting the training, getting certified, because just getting certified to be a regular police officer is not that much to it. I mean, it's not as much as people think. A lot of people think that you have to go through all that training, but no, you don't. But I think to get the qualified officers, that they should go and have at least their degree in criminal justice. I believe that would be the step in the right direction. But also, I think that America is getting out of hand, and they're raising a lot of stink about, and they're trying to justify. This is one thing I don't understand, is so many people is trying to justify that the issues that was happening with the protesting with the George Floyd, that was acceptable. For them breaking in businesses and getting violent was acceptable because they needed to let America know there was issues. Well, if you look back into the First Amendment, the First Amendment gives the people, the citizens, the right to protest, but a peaceful protest. So what we was seeing was a lot of disruptive, so that is not a peaceful protest, and I believe it was wrong for them to do what they did, to destroy the businesses that they did. That is not what America was founded on, folks. And we need to realize that America is in a crisis. And I believe that people is not really realizing that America is in trouble. When you start telling law enforcement that they can't use the force that they need and they can't make the decisions they need, I tell you, if I was in law enforcement today, I would hand my badge over and say, please find somebody else, because the community does not want officers to uphold the law. That is simply what it is. Any time that it benefits them, they're all for the police, but then when they're coming for you, no, they don't want nothing to do with the police, and the police is always going to be in the wrong. We're spending out all this money that we're spending out for what they're saying victims of people that was killed because of police brutality. Folks, when are we going to wake up? I do understand that things happen and there's issues with some police. Not every police is perfect. Police make mistakes too. But should they really be punished as much as the citizens really feel? Do you think that Derek Chauvin really meant to kill that man? Do you really think he should get that much time for trying to use the force he felt that was necessary at that time? Are you going to allow the police officers to make their own judgment? Or do you want to see the officer killed? I think you have to make a decision there, because every officer at the end of the day wants to be at home with their family. Just like you want to be home at the end of the day with your family. But I think by taking a lot of the decisions away from the officer makes it less likely that they would be able to do that. Because basically what you're saying is, if you shoot somebody and we don't approve of it, then you're going to be prosecuted to the extent of the law. If you use excessive force and we don't approve of it, oh yeah, you're definitely going to be prosecuted. But that is just something I wanted to bring to your attention, because I really feel like we have a lot of issues going on, and they need to be dealt with. And if they're not dealt with, we're going to have serious consequences down the line, because we're not going to see officers that want to work anymore. You're not going to see citizens being protected. You're going to see the crime rate go up the roof. That's stuff that we're going to see. And it's sad to say, but our president, he's not that good, folks. He's not good at all. He's not good for the country. A lot of people felt that he was, but I think that a lot of people now is saying we need somebody different, but we're stuck with him until we get another one. But I don't get into political debates, but I just wanted to give my 2 cents in. And I hope this podcast has been a help. And I want to know everybody's comments and how they feel about the issue. And we want to be able to talk about it. So send me an email and let me know your feelings on it, and I'll read it on the air. and we'll discuss it so that way everybody can hear it. Until next time, stay safe and God bless you. And remember to check us out on the website at www.hopeforfelons.com. Thank you and have a great day.